What's going on, Disney fans, and welcome back to an exciting ranking video. With the release of Frozen 2, the sequel to Frozen, and the next film from this Disney Revival Age era, it's time for me to give you guys my ranking for all 10 Disney Revival Age movies from worst to best. If you guys are new here, feel free to click that subscribe button and that bell notification icon for more reviews, reactions, rankings, and more movie content. Throughout the years, Disney has brought us incredible animated movies and just film in general. And they've released many films that are released under eras. I mean, going back to the Golden Age, the Dark Age, the Renaissance era, and now the Revival Age, and also the early 2000s age. This is the era that brought back Disney, brought back some of the greatness from Disney, because the Dark Age was awful. The Renaissance era is easily the best era for Disney, and the Revival Age has not one bad movie, and it just brought the spirit of Disney back. And I want you guys to get down below in the comment section and let me know your ranking for all the Revival Age Disney movies you've seen. If you haven't seen Frozen 2 yet, then leave the ones you've seen. Everybody is going to have different lists, including me, because it's all opinions, it's all subjective. Film is subjective. We all can love certain movies in this certain Revival Age, and this is just my list overall. So without further ado, let's get right into the ranking. Coming all the way down to the bottom at number 10 is going to be Frozen. Now, I just reviewed this movie. You can go check out my review leading up to Frozen 2. And in that review, I said that Frozen is a really well-made film from Disney. I mean, the animation alone is absolutely spectacular. And the cast, Idina Menzel, Kristen Bell, Jonathan Groff, Josh Gad as Olaf, seriously one of the best castings ever. Let It Go, Do You Want to Build a Snowman, Love is an Open Door. I mean, this has some of the best songs in Disney. But for me, what I didn't love about Frozen is just the hype. I feel it's really overhyped when people are saying top 5 best Disney movies of all time. I think the messages do drive home about this movie. I love how this movie focuses on two sisters that have a falling out with Anna and Elsa, and I think that's the best part of this first Frozen film, is Anna and Elsa's relationship. It does have a lot of overhype value for me though. I don't consider Frozen one of the best animated or Disney films, but it is a good movie. It's definitely not awful. Unfortunately though, coming in at number 9 is going to be the newly released Frozen 2. I just uploaded my review for this, guys. You can go check it out on my channel if you want to hear more in-depth thoughts on Frozen 2. I did like this one more than the first one. I actually think Frozen 2 is a really good animated Disney sequel that I really enjoyed. I thought it was funnier than the original for sure. Love all the jokes. And the character development was definitely better than the first one. I love Elsa and Anna once again. Anna was definitely better in Frozen 2 for sure. And Olaf, Josh Gad steals every comedic moment. But also I love Kristoff in here as well. Kristoff has a lot of great moments. He has a great song like I talked about in my review. Really enjoyed that scene a lot. But the best part of Frozen 2 is really the teamwork aspects of these characters, especially Elsa and Anna. Now, people are definitely going to have issues overall with some decision making that happens in the movie, which I won't spoil. Really progresses the story forward for our characters, for Elsa in particular, the choices she makes. Sterling K. Brown is a good addition in here as well. Some issues I had with this movie is that there are some characters I wanted to see more from, and some story elements that I didn't feel were earned or finished off properly. Coming in at number 8 is going to be Winnie the Pooh. Winnie the Pooh came out in 2011, and this is easily the best Winnie the Pooh movie. This movie is so cute, it's so charming, and for a really short movie, only an hour or something minutes long, this movie really was fantastic. I really enjoyed this movie all around, and I just absolutely love the adventures of all of our main characters, Pooh, Tigger, Eeyore, Christopher Robin, Piglet, and all the other characters in here. And the owl as well, trying to solve different adventures and to play this game of whoever can win a jar of honey. And Pooh throughout the movie, he's hungry. He just wants some honey. But it does have a great message in here about teamwork and not being selfish. And it's so sweet and charming to see Pooh really learn how to care for other people's needs instead of his own. He didn't just grab that jar of honey, but he just learned to cope with his fellow peers. Go see this movie because it's one of the best Disney films out there. Coming in at number 7 is going to be Ralph Breaks the Internet, aka WreckIt Ralph 2. Now, I really love Ralph Breaks the Internet. When I first saw it in theaters, I thought it was better than the original. After rewatching it, though, it has changed. Vanellope's game, Sugar Rush, goes completely down once the steering wheel breaks off, and so they go into the internet. They go to eBay to try to buy a new wheel for Sugar Rush, and Vanellope discovers different dreams. She finds a new race world called Slaughter Race, and then she goes into the world of Slaughter Race and discovers a new racing track there, and then we meet Shank, voiced by Gal Gadot, and Gal Gadot is great as Shank, and it's just really great. I love the animation in this movie. It is the Emoji Movie done right, and all of our characters are great. Ralph, John C. Reilly is perfect casting, and Sarah Silverman as Vanellope. And it's their friendship. Ralph and Vanellope is one of the best friendships in animation, and it's explored even more in this sequel. And it's so emotional, and it's so realistic, because there's so many great messages about friendships and always being there for your friend no matter what. The social media aspects, the YouTube vibes in this movie were so realistic. It talks about how harsh the comment section can be, and it just dives into the dark web as well, which I didn't expect Disney to go in that direction. It's so great because it's realistic and our characters are so well developed, and it just brings a fun vibe to it for kids and adults. Which brings me to number 6, and coming in at number 6 for me is going to be The Princess and the Frog. The Princess and the Frog is one of the most underrated Disney movies. I really enjoy this movie. The animation, the New Orleans jazz vibe, our characters. Princess Tiana is such a great Disney princess. It really introduces her story vibes into it, and the first African-American Disney princess is really great, and I just love the character growth for her. Prince Naveen, this frog, this guy who turns into a frog and turns Tiana into a frog as well. They have to learn how to love each other and to work well with each other. I also think this movie has one of the best Disney villains out there. That is Dr. Fessler, voiced by Keith David. Dr. Fessler is a really cool villain. Love his song, Are You Ready? Are You Ready on the Other Side? My biggest issue is that I wanted more of Dr. Fessler. He was barely in the movie. I thought his character was really interesting and intimidating for the screen time he does have. And also his death was really stupid, and it was a really weak way to go out. The alligator character as well, I found him really annoying. He was my biggest issue. Whenever he was throwing out jokes, it didn't really work for me. Which brings us into the top 5, and coming in at number 5 is going to be Moana. Moana is seriously a charming Disney film. I absolutely love Moana. The songs in this movie are so addicting. How Far I'll Go, You're Welcome. Seriously, such a great song. Dwayne Johnson as the voice of Maui, and Louis Carvalho as Moana. It's just such a great song. This movie seriously has some of the best animation I have ever seen. The photorealistic animation in the ocean, and our characters. Moana is seriously an inspiring Disney princess. She does everything she wants to do by setting out on this adventure. It's a classic revival age Disney movie as well, and Moana saw this movie in theaters with my brother, and we both absolutely loved it. But there are 4 better movies than Moana in my personal opinion. I don't want a sequel to this, if I'm being honest, but it's just so great. Love the emotion and the humor. Coming in at number 4 is going to be another underrated film in the Disney revival age. That is Tangled. Tangled, this movie also is so freaking good. Tangled is fantastic, and it's a Rapunzel story, and Rapunzel seems like the most boring Disney princess, but they made it work. Mandy Moore as the voice of Rapunzel is so great. Rapunzel is a really cool character. She's just this innocent, sweet, pretty girl who gets kidnapped by Mother Gothel, this really creepy old lady witch who uses this power on a flower and her hair to make her look younger and to be this fake mother for her. Mother knows best. It's so creepy and sinister. Mother Gothel is one of the best Disney villains out there. She's super underrated. And then we also get introduced to Flynn Rider, voiced by Zachary Levi. Flynn Rider, he's very charismatic. Just seems like that typical, stereotypical, strong male lead in here, but he also is down to wits. Rapunzel is way smarter than him, and so it's just cool. And Zachary Levi's personality as Flynn Rider was a great addition in here. I See the Light, fantastic song, fantastic sequence, the highlight of the movie by far. And the messages of Tangled are fantastic in here. Never trust who your real friends are, because they could possibly be your number one enemy. And it's just such a fun adventure and a dark Disney tale. And Tangled seriously needs to be seen by more people. Now we're going into the top 3, guys. Coming in at number 3 is going to be Zootopia. This movie is the most adult Disney film I have ever seen. I can't see a way for kids to enjoy this movie. I know some people think this movie's overrated. I highly disagree with them, because this movie has so many messages about racism, drugs, gender stereotypes, so many things that adults can get layered and interested in. Kids can enjoy the animal aspects about it, but they're gonna really discover things as they get older of what the true meaning of Zootopia is. And the characters are great. Nick Wilde and Judy Hopps. I love both of these characters. And the fact that they're in the works of making sequels for Zootopia is freaking awesome to hear. And Idris Elba, I love him as that cliche angry police chief. He's so funny in here. It is an adult Disney film that adults are absolutely gonna love. And also, that DMV sequence might be one of the best scenes I have seen in Disney. One of the most accurately portrayed and realistic scenes. Coming in at number 2 is going to be WreckIt Ralph. I'm gonna wreck it! WreckIt Ralph. This movie is so great. I freaking love WreckIt Ralph. Talk about one of the most fun Disney movies and one of the most funny and charming Disney films. Now, this is coming from a guy who's not a video game junkie. Like, I don't play a lot of video games like my brother does, but this movie is a video game feeling movie, and it's really charming and sweet. Ralph is just a normal character that doesn't want to be a bad guy. He just wants to be the good guy who gets that medal instead of Felix. Fix-It Felix, seriously, really cool creative character in here. He wants to be a good guy, but the great message of this movie that it explains is that you don't need a medal to be a good person. And Ralph discovers this along the way when he meets Vanellope, voiced by Sarah Silverman. King Candy, seriously an awesome villain. What a really cool twist that I didn't see coming at all. The video game aspects, it focuses a lot on the arcade style of gaming. Once you see Pac-Man and Fix-It Felix Jr., that video game, love how this movie is shot like an actual arcade setup. I would say WreckIt Ralph is definitely the most rewatchable Disney revival age movie in my personal opinion. You could watch this movie from start to finish from no problem and just have a blast. But coming in at number 1 for me is going to be Big Hero 6. I haven't rewatched Big Hero 6 in a while. I think I've seen it like 3 times, including leading up to Frozen 2. And man, Big Hero 6 makes me cry every time by that ending. And just by Baymax. Freaking Baymax. This thing is so adorable and likable. Just the fact that it's this big inflatable nurse that's like, hello, I am Baymax, your personal healthcare companion. That's just a character you can easily get attached to. Could have a Groot side effect, and Baymax and Hero's relationship is great. But another thing I love about this movie is the brother aspects. Just like Frozen with our 2 sisters, I love the brother aspect of this movie. And I want a Big Hero 6 sequel because this movie absolutely deserves it. It's such a cool superhero movie, a Marvel movie looking feeling. The biggest issue everybody has in here is the villain. And I totally understand that criticism with the villain, that it's super predictable, and I totally agree with that. That is kind of a downer about this movie, but I don't care because this movie is so well done. Big Hero 6 really works for me, and this is easily my favorite revival age Disney movie. There you have it, guys. That was my ranking for all 10 revival age Disney movies. What is your guys' ranking? I know we're going to have completely different lists down below. Let me know your list down below and let's have a great conversation. Thank you guys as always for watching this ranking. All my social media links are in the description below, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.